to the party. Welcome everybody to the YouTube Q&A, changing the lives of people across the world and specifically the life of someone I care very deeply about. I've got me here in Legion 7 headquarters along with my business partner, good friend, brother, whatever you want to put a label on it, Tony Farmer, who's on the opposite side of the camera, who you all cannot see, but you will be hearing from today as we get the questions. Reminder, all of today's Q&A session before, whether you're watching this live or you're watching it after the fact, all of today's Q&A, the revenue that we will generate here is going to be donated to, hey, good morning, Aaron, nice to see you, will be dedicated to my friend Tiffany Howe. And I'll link her GoFundMe account here in the chat. It's going to be dedicated to helping her get the treatment that she needs for lymphedema. Some of you out there in cyberspace may be familiar with this condition, and if you are, you understand how life-altering it is. But not to focus on Tiffany's challenges so much as I want to focus on the fact that Tiffany, before she no longer could work anymore, dedicated her life to changing lives of people as a nurse working in the medical field. So I want to take today as an opportunity to give back to someone that I care deeply about while giving back to all of you. So those of you who are watching again live or after the fact, this is a Q&A session designed to answer whatever questions you may have, whether it's career development, it's relationships, interpersonal development, or just getting the motivation you need to go out and grab life by the throat. I would ask that prior to you posting your question, that you would indeed give to, and nothing too small, nothing too big, to Tiffany's fund, which I've now just put in the comment section, and I'm also going to put in the video description because YouTube and all its awesomeness doesn't really let me affect that prior to getting the show going live from a cell phone. So I'm going to try to stay on the line as long as I can. My goal is to raise $1,000 for Tiffany, and I think with the type of audience we have here, everybody giving $1, $2, $5, or more bucks if you have it, will certainly help us get to that number. But I want to bless her because she's such a great blessing to so many people, not just her family, children, and friends and brothers like me, but people really all in her region with the services that she's provided before she was unable to work. Please help me change Tiffany's life. And so I've got the GoFundMe in the video description as well. I'm saving it now. You should be able to see that. Let's see. Ren says, I'm going to go live now. I'll be right back. Okay, Ren, we'll see you then. Now, hopefully, that's weird. YouTube actually took me to a separate page. I was hoping it would just let me edit it right there on screen, but that's okay. So if you're here, comment below. Let me know that you're here so we can get things going. Why do I have two videos showing as live? That's weird. Oh, the new YouTube interface does that. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. Yes, and it did update. So let's see. We got 09 is here. Aren is here. Shell Jane says morning. Good morning, Shell. Aaron says, no, go give, donate. Oh, yeah. So everyone, so what I'm asking, and I'm not going to not answer people's questions because you didn't give. It's not really about that, but I do want to prioritize as more people start to filter in to this call. I do want to prioritize the people who give. And if you follow me on Facebook, you kind of saw the format. Good afternoon, says Solomon. Hey, good afternoon, sir. Good to see you. For those of you that have given, just all you have to do when you type out your question is write I gave, type out your question, and then we'll go from there. Am I getting, looks like I'm getting email. Oh, there's an email on my phone and my laptop. So while I'm waiting for your questions to come in and for you all to go give to Tiffany again to help change lives, because that's what we focus on this channel, right? It's helping people take command of their lives so that you can live out the destiny that you believe God has put you on this earth to do. And we are here to, and we aim and we work very hard to make sure we're helping you do that. Now, interestingly enough, this just said I got an email. I don't see the email. What's going on? Everyone say hello to Tony Farmer, who's off camera right now. Say what's up, Tone.
What's up, Pete?
Yeah. He is working. He's gainfully employed doing business development behind the camera. Over here. Who are you actually networking with over there? Are you reaching out to all the people we just met with?
Yeah, Brian and I attended a meeting of business owners and business people this morning. Very productive in terms of our networking and ability to expand our offerings to people beyond our current circle. Very exciting meeting. We had a blast, and now we are sending out our thank yous to ensure that people know how much we appreciate them taking the time to explain to us what they do and taking the time to listen to what we offer as well.
Roger that. That's how we do it. So yeah, we've spent the morning doing business development, and really that's a fancy word for we've been going out looking to see how we can help business owners do better business, because that's what we does, man. It's what we do here. Not only do we help change lives, we help change people's business lives, which then again helps change lives. So feel free, once you've given a donation, $1, $2, $1 million. If you have $1 million, please. This problem will be solved immediately. If you have $1 million to give, you can just give and then we can get on with the call. But as always, don't hesitate to start posting your questions as well. If you've already given to the GoFundMe campaign, which we've been talking about here for the better part of 5 minutes, just wrote I gave dash and then type out your question. I'll be happy to jump on that for you while we're here. What has everybody else been up to? I know it's been a while since I live streamed, so there is a reason for that. Believe it or not, I just want to make sure the stream is working properly. Yeah, I think we're good there. I know I was live streaming almost daily there for a little while, and the challenge with live streaming is the way that the YouTube AI works. You get this huge boost in watch time, but the watch time is typically, at least in my case, coming from people who are already subscribed, and a lot of that view velocity is not counting towards a video performing well until YouTube ingests that video. And by the time it ingests the video, in most cases, a good majority of the views that video is going to get have already been registered during the live part of the call, which is managed by a totally separate algorithm. So in some ways, doing live calls all the time on the channels that I've run has been somewhat detrimental in terms of growth, because then those live videos, because inevitably YouTube doesn't want to inundate all of my subscribers with, look, this guy's posted 9 videos in the last 2 days. It'll kind of parse that out a little bit more slowly, and based upon your interest in what I title the video, it may not even show it to you, which is why it's good to make sure that you've pressed the bell when I'm here broadcasting live, or when you're subscribing to the channel. But when I do start uploading more static content that's pre-recorded, then there are times where those videos, in a small sense, get not a penalty is not the right word, but they don't get the promotion that those videos would typically get if I was uploading normally the way YouTube wants me to. So it's kind of messy, and kind of tricky when you're, especially if you're just starting off working to learn how YouTube's idiosyncrasies work. Romantically, I wish YouTube did things a lot differently. I had that conversation with a number of their engineers 2 years ago. I said, look, guys, what about those of us who just want to do live shows? Can you help us out? And they're like, well, we could, but no. You take those live shows and break them up into smaller shows, and then we'll promote that. So YouTube is very much a what have you done for me lately platform. So if you're not constantly uploading things that YouTube wants you to serve, and by the way, if you didn't hear my talk about how YouTube wants to, in some ways, pigeonhole you in your content, some of those things could be detrimental. Okay, I'm Mr. Meeseeks. Look at me, says Mr. Meeseeks. All right, Meeseeks, we're looking at you. Now what? Aaron says, okay, just went and donated to Tiffany's GoFundMe. Not much, but I hope it helps. Praying for her. Yeah, there's nothing too small, nothing too big. Thank you, Aaron. It's a pleasure. I'm very pleased, very honored that you would give. It means a lot coming from folks that come here for very different content, for me to every once in a while be able to say, hey, can we help this person out? It means the world to me that you would give. So thank you very much for doing that. Let's see. Dark Feathers says, I missed. What's up? Who's Tiffany? So Tiffany is a good friend and sister of mine who, she actually is the sister of my roommate from college. And her career was in serving people as a nurse and taking care of people, let alone taking care of her children, as well as a single mom. And just a person who is just insanely loyal and good to the people that are in her life, and very loving and protective. She was very protective of me and her older brother many times throughout our college life together. Had many meals at their parents' house because my roommate was from the neighborhood where we went to school. And she's just an all-around amazing person. Unfortunately, she has a condition called lymphedema, which you can read about. I won't bore you with the details here on YouTube. And just be aware that the GoFundMe page does have some pretty graphic pictures, not like not safe for work type stuff, but graphic and some hard to watch stuff, so that she can basically show you what this condition has done to her. Like, she's not working anymore because she physically can't, and she basically needs a procedure that science really hasn't evolved to the point where it can deal with this challenge easily, where like just going to your regular doctor can get it done. So she needs to see some very very well-trained specialists, and that costs lots of money to get her the medical care. Unfortunately, the insurance that she has doesn't cover it. So as a friend, she reached out to me and says, hey, anything you could do to help just spread the word? And I said, of course. I'll dedicate some time on my YouTube channel, because my YouTube channel is all about changing people's lives, right? Like helping you. We help you take command of your life, right? And we do that by first helping you remove the fear that's in your life, helping you discover your destiny, and then giving you the tools and the knowledge and the skills to go out and get it. And if my goal is to help change people's lives, I have the ability to change one person in particular's life very greatly by using the audience that I have as a platform to say, hey, if you get a lot of great content out of what I'm doing here, and you believe in our message here, then let's actually go do what we're talking about and go actually change somebody's life. Because when I run a channel, it's not just about what I'm giving to you. It's about what we as a community are giving to one another and helping one another. So I really believe we don't just come to get fed. I think of it kind of like a community organization, where you don't just come to benefit from being in the community, you come to give to the community as well. And I've always seen it that way, which probably isn't strange with my military and ministry background. So that's Tiffany's story. Awesome person who's dedicated her life to helping other people not able to do it because of her health condition. And we want to give to support her getting the care she needs. So not just so that she can be healthy, yeah, of course, but so that she can get back on her feet saving lives, because that's what she does literally for her career. So that's Tiffany, my friend. All right, this dude's got to go. Aren says, it's always the best people who seem to have the hardest struggles. I hate it. Poor girl. I feel so bad for her. Yep. Yes and yes. Solomon says, just gave what I could, but also our prayers are as important as our economy. Absolutely, brother. Thank you so much for giving. Very much. All right, cool. So with that said, those of you who are giving, what questions do you have for me and my business partner / brother Tony? Who are you emailing now? Are you buying books on Amazon?
I'm looking at books on Amazon. I'm always seeking to educate myself. Always trying to find pearls, not only in my own life, but things that people have written down, either in paperback or online, things that they share in blogs and the like. So yeah, just taking this time while Brian is kind of casting out to you guys, and let me also implore you. It's oftentimes that like this, when we're joining together for a common cause to help somebody else.
Get on the camera so people can see. Come around over here.
It really
bring Stu.
Emboldens the soul. It's hard to kind of quantify what you receive when you give to help others, and it doesn't always have to be about money, right? It's about your time, it's about your energy, it's about your talents, but here you have an opportunity. This isn't through a church where you're wondering where the money's going to go to. This isn't through the Red Cross where you're trying to help people in Houston. You really don't see the
Red Cross CEOs making $3 million a year.
You really don't see the fruits of what you're giving. But here is kind of a ground roots effort to help somebody that Bryant knows, somebody who is poured into his life to make him better. And now he takes that, what he's gained from this relationship, and he devotes his time in trying to help you. So it's not thievery, it's not robbery to find ways to give back, and so that's why we're here today. Any questions you have for me on the spiritual end, I'm here. doing some research and doing some business development. So please give if you can.
Dark Feathers says, sucks I can't donate without a card. My PayPal balance is nice. Any other means to donate? You know what? I don't know, brother. I'm actually surprised GoFundMe doesn't take PayPal. But if I do come across, because I know Dark Feathers, you and I interface outside of live shows. So if I come across something, man, I'll let you know. Aaron says, I don't really have any questions for you guys. Not that I can think of right now. Sweet. 09 says, just donated, a great cause to support. Thank you, 09. God bless you. God bless you so much. Thank you. Ren says, just wanted to pop in and say hello and let you guys know I got your back, and wanted to donate to Tiffany and let you guys know you were a blessing to my life and an inspiration to me. That is awesome. Thank you so much. And it's likewise. You know, the relationship here is mutual. All the kind words you guys bring to the table when I speak, and some of the not so kind words that people bring across when they critique me. It's very much appreciated because it helps us all grow and keep getting better. Ren says, and it's Amber, not Aren. Remember? Jeez. Yes, indeed, Amber. Very much. So Amber Wren. I guarantee you I won't make that mistake again. Dark Feather says, can I PayPal you the money instead and do the GoFundMe thing? You could, but I wouldn't worry about doing it that way, brother. Well, because doing it the PayPal way, you're going to give, and then PayPal's going to take a cut, and then they're going to take another cut. By the time your donation gets to Tiffany, it'll be all chopped up. So I'd rather either just donate on your behalf myself and just say it was you that did it so she can get the whole of it. So, but I appreciate you, man. Thank you very much. She says, actually, my last name is Bryant. Crazy, right? That is crazy because that's my first name, which is ridiculous because it's supposed to be a last name. But see, what a lot of people don't know about me is the name of the street I lived on when I was born was actually Bryant Street, right? That's right. That's how this young man got his name. And Tony, you were born not too many streets away from that, weren't you? Were you?
I have an interesting story.
Were you born in D.C. too?
I was born in Germany. My dad was a
so
career military soldier. He was a career military guy. I was born in Germany, and I landed in D.C., Washington, D.C. at 5 years old.
So you can't run. You might not be able to run for president.
I'm
dependent on how they interpret that.
I'm kind of in the State Department for all at-large berths under on a military base.
I mean, were you planning on running for president?
No, not really.
Okay,
it's not in my immediate
plans.
Just
check it, because I'd probably vote for you.
You might. You might.
I might.
But I know that I would have to do a significant amount of campaigning to get your vote. So
no, you wouldn't. The least amount of campaigning, the better. Like, just tell me what you're going to do when you get there until they show you the Kennedy video.
There's how politicians campaign, and then there's how people who seek truth campaign. So
that's why I've never run for office, because people are not ready to have some of the logical, less emotional conversations about things that I would bring to the table. I mean, there are people that are, but most of them are not voting for. They're not the majority of voters. But yeah, if you ran, I'd probably vote for you, man. I'd probably say yeah. But see, the problem is, as soon as you raise your right hand and TV, they're going to take you in the back and show you the Kennedy video. Be like, hey, last dude they got out of line, this is what's going on.
I might get an attitude adjustment. Upon swearing in, I might get an attitude adjustment, and it may completely 360 my values. But yeah, that's primarily the reason why I would not run for office.
Yeah,
I'd rather do ground root stuff, try to help the common man. Realize their greatest potential.
Yeah.
There is a person out there who is awaiting to be the CEO of their own lives, and so that's who
take command of your life.
Our time to reaching out to.
That's where you and I connect. Let's see. We have Amber says, crazy. I lived in Bamberg, Germany when I was 5. My dad was in the army. My dad was in the army too. I lived in Stuttgart, Germany. I got there when I was 7 and I left when I was 9.
Awesome.
So I was actually there. During it was cool being in Germany when I was there. It was pretty awesome.
You remember it? I don't know.
Oh, dude, yeah, I remember it. Germany is fat. Well, see, I also went back as an adult. I took Miko there the year, actually, like a week after we got married. We got on a plane because I knew I was going to war. I was like, we better have a vacation now, because I don't know when I'm coming back home, Jack. So I took her to Germany because the family was living there at the time. Dad had taken Mom back to Germany because he was basically the dean of University of Maryland, but on the European campus. So that's what he was doing when he actually retired. So yeah, Amber lived in Bamberg. Sweet. 09 says they want to go to Germany. Melanie says that's so true. Political campaigns are based on emotion and fear, and it's unfortunate. It's just a kind of a sad reality of our human condition and the way our psychology works. Solomon says, here's a question. What's the future of the channel, and what should we expect in the future? So anytime you're dealing with me, you're always going to be dealing with a core message and theme, which mine is, of course, helping people take command of their lives, like Tony says in his coaching, because Tony is actually a professional coach as well. He talks about being the CEO of your life. And for me, at the core of everything I do, like my complaints about political stuff, like I don't have beef with politicians. I don't have beef with teachers or administrators. Where I have challenges is where people, it's the human condition that I get frustrated with. And it's this, we as humans have allowed fear to shape the decisions we make instead of faith. And fear is really no different than faith. It's just putting your faith in the wrong thing. Or as I like to say, fear is faith working backwards. And so we make a lot of decisions based on fear. And a lot of it has to do with spiritual implications, but there's also an evolutionary piece to it, where in the modern world, we live with what's called evolutionary mismatches, where 5,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, you were afraid of getting chased down the street by a saber-toothed tiger. That doesn't happen anymore, but you still live with that irrational fear. And fear motivates people to do things that aren't in their best interest or the best interest of people around them. So everything that I'm doing, the knowledge, the self-awareness, is all to help us become self-aware first, and then be aware of how do we remove the fear and the things that hold us back from our life. So that's the theme, right? So that ultimately the end goal is everyone gets to the destiny that they believe God has put them on the earth to do. So you can always count on that. In terms of the specific content, I'm a scientist, so I'm always going to be experimenting. I'm always going to be trying new things to see what sticks. And part of the answer to your question is it depends on which channel you're talking about. If you're talking about YouTube, it's going to be quite a bit different than what I do on Facebook in the long term. I know they've been very similar right now because just the bandwidth I have for me and my team to create content, which we are working on, by the way. But you can expect that the channel is always going to be focused on that developing self and understanding self and the world around you so that you can make the best decisions for whatever your goals and dreams are. It's not my place to tell you what that is. But in terms of the specific content, I had no intention of making my channel so dedicated to INFP personality types. And Tony, you celebrating back there,
I'm
brother.
celebrating.
You just closed a business deal?
I am working on closing a business deal. My business is kind of eclectic, if that's the right word to use.
That's the right word.
I am in the business of helping people maximize their own skills and talents. And sometimes, if you don't have a tangible product to offer to people, it's difficult for them to imagine how you can help them.
Yeah.
But I am bound and determined not only to help people, because that's just who I am. I'm a servant leader, but I'm bound and determined to make this my life's work and kind of get out of the role of working American and get into the role of helping Americans. So just got an email from somebody that I have dropped some seeds with that I spoke to and hopefully impacted his life. And so I got some feedback, and so I'm going to engage with him until you have questions for me moving down the line.
So Amber says, love you guys. Have a great day. Thank you for all you do. Thank you, Amber. Have a great day. And thank you. God bless you so much for giving to Tiffany's cause. If you're just tuning in, folks like Melanie and the like, who may have got here after I gave the entire spiel in the beginning, purpose of this video is actually to support a GoFundMe campaign for a very dear friend and sister of mine named Tiffany, who has been a career nurse who now is not able to pursue her dream and career of help saving lives because of her health condition, which doesn't necessarily have a cure, and she needs very specific treatment, specific help that she's not able to get, one, with her insurance, or two, with the doctors where she lives, which is in Southern Virginia. I think she still lives in Southern Virginia. But anyway, it's a GoFundMe campaign where I'm asking everyone that comes here and asks questions, if you've ever gotten anything good out of talking to me or talking to other people here on the channel to enrich your life, I'd ask you to pay that forward, not into my life, not into anything I'm doing, not buying any of my programs. I'm not talking about any of that stuff today. But to pay it forward to someone who could really, really use our help, because our whole focus, like I was answering Solomon's question, is about changing lives for the better. So if you have it to give, please, the GoFundMe link is in the video description. Should be the first thing you see. I think it says Changing Tiffany's Life. Click on that. Give. You can give anonymously. You can say who you are. You can say that you met Tiffany through me. However you want to do it, it's totally up to you. But I do ask that you give. Going back to finishing the answer to Solomon's question, is the content that you can expect to see is consistent experiments and then sticking to the things that work. So for example, I've done a lot of INFP content. You'll see probably a lot more of that on YouTube, at least in the short term, until we get to roughly, I'd say once we get to around 100,000 subscribers, I can start to be a little bit more, I can play the game less and do more of what I actually want to do. There's a lot of things that I want to talk about that when you're a smaller channel, you can almost hinder yourself in terms, like, my goal is to reach millions or a billion people, right? So if that's my goal, then I need to be able to make content that helps me get into the airwaves and in front of people who are looking for content. If my goal were to just have like a small self-contained group and just be giving value there, I could be a lot more focused with my content. So until the channel is a bit bigger and has a little bit of autopilot to it and allows me to be a lot more competitive than I am as a smaller channel, there'll be a lot more focus on like INFP content, because YouTube has been working very hard to pigeonhole me into that space, because my INFP content does very well. It gets a lot of engagement, it gets a lot of watch time, and it gets a lot of retention and people going to watch other things. Regularly, I have people come and tell me, I've watched all this other content, but yours is the one that I really like. So YouTube's aware of that, believe me, and they want me to keep producing more of it. You will also see in the future, as soon as we finish the Musashi series, for example, which was me basically not reviewing the entire book, but breaking down the path of walking alone, the 21 steps to the way of walking alone, the way of the path, however you want to say it, and breaking down what those meant to me as a former combat leader and things like that, and how I apply them to my life today, and in some cases how in the future videos you'll see how I'm not applying Musashi's principles to my life, or where I think some of Musashi's principles don't necessarily apply to the modern world or someone who's not living Musashi's lifestyle. Not everybody is a swordsman or a literal warrior, so there's things that I think don't necessarily apply to everybody literally, but there is a figurative lesson to take away. That said, in the future, I plan to go into other books, very powerful books, and do similar video series. So think of it in terms of, you see gamers do Let's Plays. I am doing a version of that just with books. Right, so I do plan to do more of that in the future, going through really powerful books that have helped me. Some more complicated, some very simple books, like Managing Oneself is a very simple and basic book, but as Michael Jordan's coach would teach you, one of the ways he made Michael Jordan into the best player on the planet was he worked the fundamentals. It was, your jump shot sucks, do 10,000 jump shots a day. And he made his players do bounce passes. So oftentimes people read this book and be like, oh, that was nice, that was really simple. No. It's simple, but are you applying it to your life every single day? Is it affecting the decisions that you're making on a regular basis? Have you applied the discipline in a way to where this book is working in your life, not just head knowledge, but being able to execute on it? So stuff like that I'd like to continue doing in the future if those series continue to perform well. I would call the Musashi series for my channel a win, because if I don't do INFP content, about 92% of my audience does not care and won't watch it. So, and if I do INFP content, sometimes only 50% of my audience will watch it, and that's on a good day. So that's a lot more of what you can expect with me. There's always going to be experimentation. There's always going to be new things popping up to see what happens. I'm a person who doesn't like to predict the future. I like to experiment and then allow the results to tell me what I should be doing in the future. Right? So there's that. And then on my other social media channels, Facebook is where I build relationships. Snapchat is where I kind of just do stupid entertaining stuff. I don't really try to do a whole lot of motivation on Snapchat because I think there's enough people doing that. Like I do freestyle battles with my cousin. We do freestyle rap battles with whatever the crazy music Snapchat filter is for that week. We got into a long rap battle this past weekend. That was just between me and him. I didn't share it. Maybe I'll share it with the public at some point. Instagram is really promoting my love for books, my love for personal development, stuff like that. So that's what you can expect, at least in the short term, is me continuing to build my brand as a leader. I don't like to just use the word coach because, one, I think it's overplayed. Two, I think 98% of the coaches in the world are not actually helping people execute things. They're just giving you these very nice, high level, you should think about this. Like, that's great, but I'm trying to like do stuff. Right? Like I need actionable, like, so in like my personal coaching program, you have like, it's basically like if you went through an advanced military course, that's what my coaching program is like. It's not, okay, read this book and then tell me how you felt about it and did you get the higher level of learning. It's like, dude, you have a book, you have a whole book you have to read this week. You have all of this information that you need to be writing and summarizing, and then we're going to get on a call and talk about it and actually start punching holes in the challenges that you're facing. So it's very much like a crash course military. I've learned a lot from being a part of military education and being a trainer and being a leader that I bring to the table that I think the rest of the world, and especially the education system, doesn't understand. The education system and even the corporate world does not really understand applied leadership. They'll send their people to a leadership course and just expect they're going to come back with all this knowledge and be amazing leaders, but there's nothing built into that training to actually let them practice the leadership principles they learned, fail, and get better at it. So that's a lot of what we do here, and you'll see a lot more of that continue to crop up on our social media channels. So 09 says, Thanaros says, hey B, hey, my first time live. Good to see you, Thanaros. Thanks for coming. If you haven't already given to my friend Tiffany's GoFundMe, I have it in the description below. Long story short, Tiffany is a person that's been working her whole career to save lives. She now has a health condition that's stopping her from being able to work at all, has children, wants to get back out there in the field saving lives, but first has to take care of her health with a very rare health condition that she has and needs very specific help that her insurance does not cover, and with no primary income coming in, it's very hard to pay for those things. So if you have it to give, my good friend, please give. Link in the description to Tiffany's GoFundMe account, a dear friend and sister of mine who I'd very much like to make sure gets the help that she needs. Oh, and I just got a message from somebody at the business. Oh, they're talking about our, I have another meetup later today to do social media coaching for local businesses, and I got people texting me about it, so I need to get back to them in a minute. 09 says, and thank you 09 for your contribution. Dark Feather says, I low-key miss the game streams, especially the Minecraft with the game, but I get people change and grow up, meet some friends through those days. Yeah, so I think my problem as a gamer, Dark Feathers, was I was trying to use gaming as a Trojan horse to reach young people and give them messages that would help their lives. And the bet that I made was that I could be compelling enough to draw an audience who would love to watch me do one of my favorite hobbies, but would also want to listen to me talk about things that could actually impact their lives. And what I found for the most part was three groups of people. A very small group of people who were all in, like, this is awesome, I want to be a part of this, like you. And then a much bigger group of people who didn't give two flying foxtrots, and then an even slightly smaller but still big group of people who were like, why are we sitting here listening to you talk about the challenges of race relations in America when we're trying to watch a Minecraft show? And I could never just be like, I ran into this as a musician as well. I could never just be an entertainer. It's just not a part of who I am. If I can't some way, shape, or form instill a message that has the ability to change your life if you apply it, I'm just not going to be happy. So like, just being funny and being entertaining is cool. I like that. But to me, there has to be something more. Like, if you look at the comedians I follow, like Louis C.K., for example, who's often criticized for being very vulgar or very dark in his humor. But if you understand why he does what he does, his philosophy is, my job as a comedian is that, one, comedy is born out of tragedy, people suffering, right? So his philosophy is, if I can take you to a very dark place where you're afraid or you're in pain and I can make you laugh there, then I'm empowering you. So he makes jokes about racism. He makes jokes about horrible things like murder and rape, and suicide, but he's doing it in a way, he's found the funny in the human existence where he can take you to this horrible place and make you laugh, which, if you can laugh in the face of distress, and it's very funny because it's something that soldiers learn, is in the face of distress, you don't lose your cool. You don't lose your confidence. You stay mentally in the fight. And that's what I think Louis is giving to people when he makes comedy. And I think that's lost on a lot of people because they just hear fart, poop, and rape jokes, and they don't really understand what he's doing with his comedy. So I think that I have a responsibility that goes beyond just being funny or being entertaining and compelling. And like Samuel Hunter said, edutainment. Exactly. Gaming wanted me to just be an entertainer. And I get it. I mean, the audience for gaming are people my kids' age. So it's not like a bunch of people my age are sitting around watching video games. And the older crowd that's watching video games is still younger than me. These are people that grew up with Red versus Blue. That doesn't compute to me. Like, Red versus Blue was a thing. I had kids, I think, by the time Red versus Blue came around. At least I think I did. I don't remember. But anyway, so yeah, I miss the hangouts, but I don't miss the constant frustration with trying to spread a message here that can help people, and gaming is the wrong platform, at least today. But I've been on gaming in social media since the 90s, before there was a thing called the internet. We had message forums back then. It isn't any different now. Like, the old people now are fussing about the millennials. We were the same ones in the message forums arguing about Street Fighter 2 was better on Sega Genesis than it is on Super Nintendo. So this romantic idea we had about the past where we weren't as angry and bitter. We just didn't have the internet. So Amber says, I am taking command, brother, and I'm not apologizing for letting others make me feel bad. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Outstanding. 09 says, any advice for an artist wanting to market themselves? I know a lot of people use social media to market their work. What's a good venue and a way to stand out? So part of that depends upon, yes, social media. Like, social media, Gary Vaynerchuk says it best. Social media is just the slang term we use now for the internet. And if people think the internet is not where marketing is happening, unless your business is you live in a farm town that has 60,000 people and you are the one knitting their blankets, you're going to be on the internet. So, yes, social media. What platform you use on social media and how you present your information is going to be dependent on a few things. One, what type of art are we talking about? Two, who is your core audience? And three, what type of content are you actually good at producing? Are you good at talking? Are you good at doing video? Are you good at writing? Are you good at all three? That's what will ultimately determine where you belong in terms of the social media game. Going back to Solomon's question earlier, where you're going to find me in the long run because I've been noticing how I behave as an older person who doesn't care about Let's Plays or reaction videos or whatever the latest person on YouTube is talking about, because I'm living the life that everybody's pretending to live on YouTube. Like that, I have the beautiful wife and the kids and the family and going to the farm. Like, I have all that, so I don't need to have the entertainment that helps me vicariously do it. But what I am watching people my age do is listen. And so I think as we continue to evolve, you're going to see a lot more on the podcast front. I think audio is really going to make a killing for us. Maybe even more so than video. I'm good on video, but it's the video game. The stuff I talk about requires you to actually pay attention. And I'm not going to be doing 57 jump cuts. It's not going to happen. I mean, I won't say it's not going to happen because I have an editor now who's helping me do it. But the 57 jump cuts and trying to do crazy stuff to keep your attention, when people grow out of that and can actually pay attention for 30 seconds to listen to something, then you can come find me. But yeah, so for you, that's what I would say. iFlames300 says, hey guys. Samuel Hunter says, edutainment. Dark Feather says, I'm one of the older gamers. I don't see myself quitting anytime soon. Almost 30 soon. But yeah, you're not an old gamer, dude. You're 30. Please. Says I'm old and I'm 30. Get out of here. Now, yes, you are old for the YouTube crowd, for sure. But just think about me, right? It's like I just told you, my social media life began as a kid on not the internet. It was logging into a dial-up hosting service where we found message boards to talk about video games, right? Like if your first Let's Play was not at an arcade watching somebody else beat a game, you are not an old gamer. Right? So yeah, you are still connected to the younger crowd, I think, in ways that I just couldn't be. He says, but I love it, but I have a second passion because I love film and editing. Yeah, which makes a lot of sense. And see, I don't. Like, I don't love making films. I make films because I love reaching people and changing lives. So film is just a necessary evil. You know, so something to think about. Super Ohio Brother says, so much truth in that statement, B. Generational amnesia does seem to continue. It does. Because, see, and now I will say, it is different nowadays, because none of us were getting death threats for being Super Nintendo or Sega Genesis fans, or for being a feminist, like, or having movements because of journalistic integrity about an effing video game. So yes, it has changed in that we fuss and whine about a lot more things, but we still fussed and whined is the point. So it's probably fair to say it is a little bit worse now than it was before, but not so catastrophic. I think it's just the worst people now have access to media, whereas before they probably just went home and I don't know, they went home and just yelled into their pillow or something. They didn't have a platform, like the psychopaths didn't have a platform like they have today. Infinite Game says, hey B, sup? Super Ohio Brothers. Solomon says, could it be possible to condition a child from a young age so that they don't make their decisions based off fear rather than faith? Yes, I do believe it's possible. I work very hard to give my sons confidence and faith in their abilities and faith in God and faith in me and their mother to be able to accomplish things. I remember is that the mother of Alexander the Great taught him that he's the son of God and not just a normal man. Yeah, I think our society does a lot to tear down our human nature and compulsion to grow and be good and live like when the Bible talks about living an abundant life, then we get preachers literally telling people that being poor, broke, and despondent is it's the way you make sacrifice for the Lord. Well, I thought the Bible also said that I prefer obedience to sacrifice. And on top of that, I came here that you should have life and life more abundantly. So which one is it? Like, at no point was God like, I think everybody should be poor and dying because the best way to serve me is to be sad. I mean, that's the world we live in. Like, people literally are getting mad at people for making money, from doing work. That's such a defeatist, fear-based, fear-mongering mentality. It's this, I see somebody else winning and I'm not winning like they are, so I'm jealous and I have to tear them down. Right? So, yeah, I think we not only can we condition our kids, we should be conditioning our kids to think bigger. Like, I read a book, I think it was called The Science of Getting Rich, which has some interesting points. It's actually the book that The Secret is based on, if you've ever read The Secret or watched the movie. And the book basically says a person who doesn't want to be rich is not normal. Because in order to live your life to the fullest and be healthy and happy and experience life, you have to have resources. Until the world changes and we go to Star Trek and everybody gets a replicator and we're flying around space just all hunky-dory. I've never used the word hunky-dory before.
Don't ever do that again.
I won't ever do it again. And so until that happens, money is the way we're doing it. And people are like, well, I need not be rich because I'm a better person because you're poor. Like, what? Some of the worst people on the planet are poor. Like, I've never, ever, as a matter of fact, today at our business meeting, we were at a golf club. This giant resort with these mansions that are sitting on the golf course, just delicious. Moms taking their little rich kids to school. It was awesome.
Joggers, walkers.
Like, nobody out there was hitting each other over the head with beer bottles. I used to work in downtown DC. Nobody got stabbed this morning. And everybody was happy. Like, everyone talks about being rich makes you miserable. I don't know any rich, miserable people. Now, I know some miserable people who happen to be wealthy, but those people were smiling like a mofo on getting their kids off to school. Like, the kids were running to the bus. Like, and not because they're rich, they have options. They can do things with their life. Right? So, yeah, we've got to get out of this horrible poverty mindset that's been promoted by people who actually want you to fail. And then it's the same thing with the Crusades. We'll just get the Pope to put his stamp on this thing we're going to do. Bloop. Oh, Jesus said we should do it. Okay, well, let's just go murder all these people. Come on. It's the same thing. Like, let's get the church to preach to everybody that you should be broke and poor. Give me a break. It's bananas. Not a single person on this planet, if I walked up to you today and says, what's your dream? Okay. I'm going to give you $1 million to chase that dream. Not a single one of you, unless you were clinically insane, would be like, no, because being poor is better. So you're going to not achieve the thing you feel like you were put on earth to do because having money is evil. And you'll hear people say, well, the root of, or money is the root of all evil. And they'll quote the Bible. By the way, the Bible doesn't say that. Try again. Bible does not say money is the root of all evil. And if you think I'm wrong, look it up. You'll see what it really says. I'm not even going to say what it actually says. All right, sorry. Soapbox. I'm putting the soapbox back under the table. Thanks, B. I want to work in animation, says 09, in the story development side. Animatics and storyboards. I want to work. So are you capable of doing animations on your own, or do you want to go work in a studio to do it? If you're able to do it on your own, bro, you should be YouTubing it off. And Instagramming it off and Snapchatting it up. Straight up. Melanie says, I think our brains are naturally wired to make decisions in fear because of our own survival protection. So we need to be intentional. Yes, that is correct. Our brains are wired to survive, not to be happy. Being happy is a choice that starts with gratitude. That's another sermon. Okay, so your brain is wired to survive, and the way you survive for thousands of years is being afraid of the giant bear that's outside trying to chase you down the street. The problem is, in 2017, there's not really a whole lot of bears chasing you down the street, so we pick other things to fear, like your boss, whatever. Come on. Like, even if you got fired today, you'd go draw unemployment and you'd probably figure it out. You wouldn't die. Not in America. Now, I know some of you are listening or from other countries. You may be in India, where it's a little bit different. I respect that. But for the most part, if you're in a first world country, there's not really a whole lot for you to fear because the systems are in place to protect you if you're trying to completely hit rock bottom, right? And by the way, you're talking to a dude that's lived literally in freaking drug neighborhoods where they shot the place up, and we still did fine, right? And that was as an adult, because growing up, I grew up pretty nice, actually. I didn't go to the hood till it was Tony and I joke about that. Like, you were raised in the hood and moved out. I was raised in the suburbs and moved in. And then we all met in the middle. So, yeah. Let's see. Infinite Game says, on my channel, I have video styles that are doing much better than others. Would you just increase that content and still keep the rest? Or totally change the channel to... So, it depends on what you're trying to do. If I have something that's winning, I'm tripling down on it. If I still believe in this other thing and I want to still give it a chance, then I do 80-20. I'm going to give 80% to like INFP stuff, for example. That's why you see so much of it. And I'm going to give 20% to talking about Musashi, talking about what books I'm reading, talking about my vlog. But it'll be unbalanced. And eventually, like I've already done the math. My daily vlog has very significantly curbed the growth of my channel. It's hurt the channel. And hurting the channel is not the right way to say it. It has hindered the growth of the channel way more than it's helped, right? So, for example, my daily vlog doesn't bring a whole lot of subscribers. Some of you watch it and get a lot out of it, which is value to me, but it's not helping me reach new people for the most part. So I am evaluating now, do I continue doing that daily vlog, or do I keep doing the stuff that's really working and then do more things like this Musashi series, which is getting viewership and starting to get some subscribership, because it's a very specific focused thing versus a vlog where one day I'm having a meeting over here, the next day I'm doing whatever. So those are the things to think about in that regard. Samuel Hunter says, the love of money. Oh, somebody's been reading their Bible.
Outstanding. Outstanding.
Yeah, somebody's actually been reading that book they claim to believe in. Dark Feather says, wanted to thank you. A while back in a show, you dropped some relationship advice to help me move on from someone. Now I found someone better. So thanks for the advice, B. Yeah, man, my pleasure. It's always my pleasure to serve. Now, if anybody else is just showing up and you haven't given to Tiffany's GoFundMe campaign, make sure you go do that. This is an opportunity for all of us as a community to give back to people who are literally in need, not just in need of advice or coaching. This is a person who needs your help in order to survive and live a life that I believe God put her on this earth to do, which is she saves the lives of other people. She can't do that right now because of her health condition. Link in the description where you can give $1, give $20, give 400 million bucks if you have it to give. And by the way, if you have 400 million bucks to give, I have an investment I want to talk to you about. It's called the BryantChambers movement. And a lot of things we could do with your $400 million that I can put to good use and actually turn into billions for all of us. So hit me up if that's you. 09 says, I'd like to be in the studio, not disciplined enough to work on my own unless I can develop to. So what I would suggest then is not worrying about so much doing social media if you're not able to do this alone. I would be concerned about how can I go to a place that does animation that has, makes things that I'm curious about and like to make, and how can you get started actually doing animation there? And you may have to start not doing animation. You may have to start like Tony, you started working in you were a janitor when you first got started, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
The appropriate term is environmental services engineer.
He was an environmental services ESS. No, ESE.
Yes. Environmental
services engineer. So yeah, Tony, who had, until he started coaching, you're talking about a dude that had over 20 years in the HR taking care of people field. But before that, my man was cleaning floors, G. And before I started my business, I was chasing terrorists around the world. So, get started where you get started and just have a plan. Let's see. Solomon Musashi says, what does that thing say in the background that start remember on the shelf with extreme ownership start? I don't think anything says start. Or maybe your eyeballs are better than mine. Are you talking about The Selfish Gene by Richard Dawkins, perhaps? Is that what we're talking about? Maybe I need to make that more visible. Let me turn it so people can see it. Start. Now let me look at the camera so maybe I can see what you're seeing. Yeah, so I'm guessing it's The Selfish Gene that you saw. Oh, no, the stone, Roger. It says, remember, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. Eleanor Roosevelt. It's actually my wife's. I put that up in the office years ago because I think it's true. I have a video in my 69 Pillars program, which we're still building, not on sale yet. Hope to have it on sale by the beginning of October and hope to actually launch it by the beginning of November. Still have a lot of filming to do. We've got the curriculum set up, got the video set up. It's just taking me a lot of time because it's not like this type of film where I'm just off the cuff. Hey, like there's actually things that I'm covering, points I need to cover, and I'm trying to make sure the sound is, like I was filming outside this past weekend and there was this bird, like every 4 seconds, stupid bird is chirping. I'm like, no one's going to want to listen to this video, so I had to start over. And working on getting the lighting and stuff like that, so it looks a little bit more professional than what I do on a regular basis, but I like my stuff to look raw because then it feels real. It doesn't feel like you're in a coaching program. It feels like, hey, there's just a dude that learned a lot of things and he's passing them on. But the point there is we actually have a video in the 69 Pillars of Success called You Are What You Answer To. And that rock has a lot to do with that. Dark Feather says, all right, B, gotta go get tomorrow's video done. Got a meeting, and then football is back, baby. Pat's about to get that game 1 win tonight is. Yeah, I guess this is week 1.
Thursday night. Yeah.
Who else is that? The only game for Thursday night football?
Usually on Thursday nights, and especially open season, they have 2.
That's what I thought. Who else is playing? Who are you guys playing tonight, Dart? KC. KC.
Good luck.
Is Jeremy Maclin still playing there?
I think so.
Mr. Number 1 receiver with the Eagles because Deshaun Jackson, and then Deshaun Jackson left, and then nobody remembers Jeremy Maclin. Yeah, God love Andy Reid, man. I was really hoping they'd get a Super Bowl with him there because I think he's earned it with as much hustle as he's put into the game, as many teams as he's taken to championships. Good God. Cool. So leave me a comment if you're still watching. Let me know if I haven't already shouted you out and you've given to Tiffany's GoFundMe campaign. Let me know that you did so I can appreciate you and thank you properly. See, I don't know if there is a second game tonight, but I always thought there was on opening night.
Usually.
Who has the UK game this year? Is it the Cowboys going to the UK or was that last year?
I think that sounds right.
Yeah. All right. All right, so I think Jacqueline sent me a text about the meeting today at 2 o'clock. I think she's going to try to be there.
Awesome.
So Jacqueline will be there. Megan will be there. The other Megan, not the one you spoke to.
Ah,
She'll be there. She's definitely coming. And then hopefully there's a gentleman that's coming named Keith. Hoping he's missed the last several meetings. Hopefully he'll be there. Sorry, guys. We're having a business meeting while trying to change the world. And then not sure who else. Hopefully Julie will be back. I think she was out of town for the last meeting. Hopefully she's back so I can help her with some stuff. So, yeah, continue to donate. Continue to leave your questions. That'll be outstanding. So, yeah, what we should have, at a minimum, we should have Megan. Hopefully Armand's will be there. He's the lingerie business owner. Check to see if he emailed me back.
I think you meant lingerie.
Lingerie, yes. Lingerie. Lingerie, as we call it in the hood. Although I don't think the hood was still calling it that by the time I moved to the hood. I think that's your generation.
Oh. It's a good way of calling me old. That's all good.
You ain't old yet, bro. My dad was old. You just the next generation.
I love it.
It's funny, man. I remember when my dad was my age. Oh, I wasn't born yet. My dad was my age. I remember when my dad was your age, though. Yes, sir.
He must have been hella sexy.
He was a beast, man. Matter of fact, did you see the tribute video I did for him?
I did not.
Okay. Well, if you see it, the picture of him and me, I'm a baby in the picture, but the picture of him is from when he was a couple years younger than you, but not by much. No. Yeah, he would have been, I think, maybe 2 years younger than you in that picture. And you can see he looks like he's freaking in his 20s and just sexy as he wants to be. My dad's a sexy brother, man. Y'all better believe it out there in the cyberspace. Dark Feather says, all right, peace. Enjoy the day, B. Good luck with the animation 09. If I want to share ideas, cool, yeah. Glad you guys are. And by the way, friends, feel free to use these hangouts and your conversations on our Facebook page as an opportunity to network for the things that you're doing out there to change the world. That's what this is all about. That's why it's called the BryantChambers Movement, not the BryantChambers Show. It's not about me. It's about the movement. My name's just on it because it's very easy to just name something your name and distinguish yourself. But it's really all about the movement. It has very little to do with me. Thaneros says, what is the best way to engage small talk? I dread small talk, but no, it's a necessary skill in life. So the first thing to do is figure out, what do you hate so much about small talk? Why do you hate it? Let's start there. Because I can attest to, I hate small talk, but I'm also very good at it. What do you hate so much about it? Let's start there. Digital, I can't say that word. Fade 8 rate. By any chance, are you using Jump Academy still? If yes, Have you made any connections on it? I have not really been active on Jump Cut, and I think they cut me. Like, I think they're like, we're not messing with this dude anymore, and they just cut me off. I have not been as active there as I probably would have liked to have been. So no, I haven't really made a whole lot of connections there. And now that you're saying this, I should have been a lot more active in that community. But when you're managing communities of your own and working to build a thing very similar to what they're building, except they focus way more on the influencer entertainment side. It's clear that that's what they're about. I focus more on the philanthropic people that want to change the world through social media. So we do similar things, but we have different goals. And the training that I give is a lot more, I get a lot more detailed in the tactics and provide, like, they're very good at the strategy and helping you understand why you do things. And they're very good at, like, the video editing and knowing how to do things. But some of the tactics we talk about are leadership tactics, not just social media. It's about how do you manage you, how do you manage a business if you're going to build one around it, stuff like that. We get a little bit deeper into that. But yeah, I still have access to the academy, but they stopped taking payments from me, and I have no idea why. I probably should reach out to Homeboy and be like, hey, son, why'd you cut me? Because I know I was making my payments faithfully. Anyway, Melanie says, I see small talk as just something to break through to get to the deep stuff. Solomon says, during dating, when or how do you go about from just dates to going to being in a relationship? Very hard to say without way more context than that. I found that my most successful relationships were born out of no expectation for there to be this grandiose relationship. Let's just be cool. Let's talk. Like, my wife and I spent, in the time it takes, usually it takes people 3 years of going on dates and talking to each other to accomplish what my wife and I did in a month. And I mean, that was almost nightly calls where we talked for hours, and not just about, hey, what's your favorite color? Oh, mine too. I love the notebook. Like, it was straight up like, so life, what are we doing? What are we doing to make the world a better place? What are our goals? Are they aligned? You know, can I help you? Can you help me? And just really getting to know, like, what's your family like, yo? Oh, wow, you were abandoned by your father too. Sweet. So was I. You know, and really spending that time getting to know each other. So my wife and I were really good. Like, if you ever hear her talk about me, she'd be like, that dude's my best friend. No question. Now, she's all right. I don't know. Is she my best friend, Tom, you think?
Who's this?
My wife.
Of course.
Yeah, she's probably my best friend.
You better be.
I'm joking, of course. No, she's the reason why I'm still alive. In fact, at the business meeting today, I don't know if you heard me say that to Sherry. I said, oh, yeah, my wife is probably single-handedly responsible for me still being alive. One, because I was eating Taco Bell every night when she met me. I was much smaller when I was eating Taco Bell. Like, she helped me get big and muscly. And then if I didn't have a wife to come home to me after the war, I think I'd have been a little bit too much Braveheart and a lot less Maximus. You know what I mean? Like, I was a little more Maximus by the time I got to war.
My wife was my first mentor. My wife taught me the pitfalls of the corporate arena. She taught me how to read people. She taught
Are you
me
on camera? Because I can't see anything.
I am on camera. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But it's interesting. She literally just sent me a text. She said, hey, get all your business development, get all your mentee calls, get all your calls with your brothers, get your lunch, get your dinner, get everything you need, because tomorrow I got a list for you. I've endeavored on several businesses. My wife and I are entrepreneurs together. We do have a business currently in North Carolina. Today was kind of an individual business development, but here's the reality. When you endeavor into a relationship, particularly a marital relationship, it's never just you. There's a partnership, and if you are in a relationship where you feel like you are not a partner, then you need to
evaluate and take inventory.
Cease and desist. That is my relationship advice for the day.
For the day. Excellent. So yeah, when to move it to the next thing. For me and my wife, there was never a next thing. It was we endeavor to be friends, and if indeed our friendship morphs into something else, So be it, and it did naturally because we had a lot in common. Most importantly, I keep driving this home. The reason why you guys need to take the Hexaco personality test, Solomon, I know you already have, is you need to understand your values. You need to understand what makes you tick emotionally. Like I could not, and I'm telling you because I have people like this in my life, I could not be married to a person who scores high in emotionality on the Hexaco test because they would drive me freaking up the wall. Especially if you score high on neuroticism, I won't be around you very much because I won't be able to take your constant nagging and fussing about things you're fearful about. Doesn't mean you're a bad person. It just means you're exhausting for a person who scores very low in emotionality and has been like, my mother yelled at me one time because I think she would score relatively above average in neuroticism. She was fussing about something. And I was like, Ma, look, at the end of the day, and before I could finish my sentence, she was like, yeah, nobody's going to die and nobody's going to lose any money. But I don't know. I was like, yeah, but that's the litmus test for getting me to care about something. Like safety and making sure that people have enough food to eat. Like those are the two things. Like I came from an environment and a lifestyle where people were literally, as Tony puts it, paid to kill me. You think I'm going to come home and fuss about a UPS package was late getting to grandma's house? Come on. Have a seat. So, yeah, I would say it's very hard for me to give you specific advice without knowing a lot more about the context. But for me, I loved the two, outside of my marriage, the best relationships I had were people that I was friends with where we just pursued more. Versus going into the dating world with so what's your favorite color? What do you like to do on the weekends? Blah, 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 all the small talk you guys are talking about. It's just when you are like, our purpose is to build a friendship that might come with other benefits. And we both have to mutually agree. And in that regard, there's never any awkwardness. Because think about your best friend in the world. You could tell him anything. Same thing with my wife. There's nothing I can't tell my wife. Some of the stuff that happened to me as a kid that I don't talk about publicly, I can tell her, like, yeah, babe, that happened. You're welcome. You know, and I never have to worry about her judging me or making me feel bad or blah, blah, blah. And the same goes for her. So, anyway, that's that. Melanie says she hates small talk so much. Thanos says, I hate it because I find it boring and pointless. Excellent. Glad you said that. Your problem with small talk is not small talk. Your problem is you, my friend, because you are moving forward and behaving without empathy. So the best thing to do, and not completely, I'm not saying you lack empathy. What I'm saying is small talk is boring to you because you are hoping to engage in a conversation that stimulates you, I'm assuming, intellectually or at least emotionally. You should be going into conversations with the other person in mind and deploying empathy. And if they want to talk about their golf swing and they're a little bit awkward and don't like to get into all the details of the deeper pieces of conversation just yet, then you deploy empathy and you say, well, this isn't interesting to me. Like I had to have this conversation with one of the students in my social media program. And they're like, well, I just don't see a reason why I need to be on Snapchat. I'm like, 'cause genius, it's not about you. It's about your fans, which are all 13 to 17 years old. Guess where they all hang out for your little video game show? Oh yeah, Snapchat. That's where they are. So it's not about you. It's about if you truly are trying to engage with somebody for whatever, then just deploy empathy and say, I will be willing to endure whatever it is they want to talk about because I'm going to show them care. And then hopefully that will be reciprocated. They'll say, oh, now tell me about you. And then you can get into talking about the things that you're interested in. So it's really about empathy. A lot of the reasons, and by the way, I hate small talk too. I'm not judging you. And it's for the same reasons. It's because most small talk is boring. And I don't want to talk about your golf swing or for the love of Christ in heaven. The weather's really interesting today, isn't it, B? No, it's not. Weather's been happening literally for like 1 billion years. So please, it's raining today. I get that it's August and it's supposed to be sunny and not 64 degrees, but it is. So like either jump off a cliff and stop talking to me or do 8,000 push-ups so this conversation doesn't have to. So yeah, I get it. I get it. Trust me. I feel you, but deploy empathy. Have the conversation about the freaking weather. And then if they don't reciprocate and if the conversation goes nowhere, then you just know, okay, it's a conversation you never have to have again. But if you want to interact with other human beings, you're going to have to meet them where they are. So, because trust me, One of my favorite ones when I talk to people, what's up, brother? Oh, I'm living the dream. Word? That's the dream? This is your dream right here, right now, eating a boiled egg? This is what you dreamt about all your life? When you were 7 in 2nd grade and the teacher, what do you want to be when you grow up, Timmy? Oh, I want to eat boiled eggs and talk to Brian about how I'm living the dream. Right? And most people say that ironically. I get it. But just bear with it. And think about how you can take small talk into deeper, more meaningful talk. And just know some people aren't good at, like, some people love small talk and don't like. I've had people tell me, dude, you're making this conversation way too deep. We don't want to talk to you. Please go sit back down. Literally. Not even exaggerating. That's what I was told. Like, this, you're making this conversation too deep. We just wanted to talk about what Kim Kardashian wore to the thing. We don't want to know why we have psychological deficiencies because we care about what Kim Kardashian wears to the thing. We just are remarkably jealous about how her body looks and ours does not. And she can wear that dress and we cannot. And I don't care about what the psychology behind it is. I just want to be bitter that Kim Kardashian looks better than me right now. So, it's where you live. All right. Solomon says, I think small talk is highly important when networking. It's the door for you to take things deeper. Yeah, 100%. Super Ohio Brother says, hey, B, I got a book to recommend to you. It's called You Have the Right to Remain Innocent by James Duane. It's very informative and quick read. If you get the time, check it out. Thank you. I love book recommendations. Anime Rocher says, what can help someone in a relationship? And the guy is saying he feels lonely, but you support him and is always there for him. He has a narcissist personality. Interesting. So it is very possible, I've experienced this in my marriage, you can live with someone every day of your life and still feel lonely. And part of the challenge there is that you are not making a more deep, intimate connection on things that you both have shared interest in. So it's very easy to be like, I'm around people, 7 people live in my house, all right, between children and wife. I talked to her about getting another wife just to help out, like not because I'm have some chauvinistic, sexist fantasy about having multiple women. I was just like, let's just do like the Mormons do. I think they figured it out. Like, we just get all this help, and she's like, well, then do I get another husband? I'm like, sure. Like it's not about sleeping together. Just have someone watch the kids so you and I, like, have the other wife and husband watch the kids so we can go out on a date. That's what I'm talking about. Anyway, so yeah, you can live in a house and still be completely lonely because no one is making a connection with you in the areas where you're feeling that loneliness, right? That desire to connect with another human being about something you care about deeply, right? And if they are narcissistic, that can be, if they're overly narcissistic, then you have a challenge because you can keep feeding that beast and it's just never going to be enough. Someone that's overly narcissistic doesn't understand gratitude and being content with what they have and even being happy with what you have. Because happiness, remember, friends, is a choice. Happiness has to be cultivated. Happiness is not something that happens to you when life goes your way. It just isn't. Happiness is something you have to train. Like some of my happiest memories are literally when I've been in countries where people were trying to kill me. And I have memories about stuff that happened that was hilarious. Like one of my soldiers shot himself in the balls with not a gun. he was burning something in a fire, like a spray can that shot up, and it actually had hit him in his leg, but we thought he hit himself in his man parts. We rushed him to the medic. Like, that's funny. Like, we at the time were like, I hope this guy didn't just lose the ability to reproduce. But we got there and realized it was actually just a leg injury. But those memories are funny, man. And happiness is just, you choose it. Ha ha ha, the weather, living the dream. I said that sarcastically whenever anyone asked me how I was doing at my retail restaurant jobs. I never said that at retail jobs. I was too busy in the trash compactor jumping up and down on the boxes because the compactor part of the recycle compactor was broken and our boss used to make us jump on the boxes. I think that would be like slavery, wouldn't it, Tom?
Yeah, it sounds like
You're an HR guy. Shouldn't that guy have been removed?
Somebody
we had to
should have
climb
a
into the
conversation.
dumpster
Somebody
to jump
should
on the
have
boxes
had
and
a
break them down.
conversation, Yes.
Like, jump in the compactor
Yes.
because it'll save us money on trash.
Not good.
And I remember even one of the maintenance guys, he made me get up on like a 20-foot ladder to fix a light.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the maintenance dudes like, hey, bruh, what are you doing up there? Like the boss said, he's like, nah, there's like OSHA requirements and safety tests you got to pass before you can climb up a 20-foot ladder. Like, look, the boss told me I got to, he's like, don't you work in the place that pulls stuff off of trucks? Why are you in here fixing lights? Well, apparently because y'all weren't here. And well, we're back now, so get off the ladder. I think we worked at a slave camp, Tone. The more I'm thinking about it,
You'd be amazed how many slave jobs we've had
this sounds kind of...
over the years.
Yeah, I didn't know any better. I was making $6.50 an hour. I thought I was a beast.
Nope.
That's not even minimum wage
Not even.
now. That's like slave wages compared to
You
what
thought
kids
you was
are.
making bank.
Oh, chief, I was getting discounts on clothes. 'Cause this was Burlington Coat Factory, if you want to know who I'm talking about. The record store wasn't slavery, although I did get attacked by some bees.
Well, you were getting some discounts on some records. You know, that's
And I was getting access.
meaningful if there's a two-way exchange of benefits.
I was getting access to the records early because in the music business, you always get the CDs a couple days before they actually come out. And like GameStop does that too for games, but I don't know if the employees are allowed to play them. But in the music store, like I tell my boys, hey, we got the new Wu-Tang today. Come up here, I'm gonna let you listen to it. I'm like, yeah. So they go home, and I wish freaking Facebook existed when we were growing up.
Oh,
I would
man.
be a billionaire with the stuff we used to do.
Craziness.
You kidding me? Now I have to compete with kids because my life is boring as I have children. When I was awesome, we'd had Instagram when I was playing football.
Oh, boy.
And I hit that dude so hard the pads came out of his helmet. I literally would have Snapchatted that on the field. Like, dude, stay down.
And it would have raised your stock. That's a fact.
I would have been playing for the Redskins probably to this day because of that one hit.
And they would have needed you.
They might. Manny Rosenberg says, I'm out here thinking about how I used to jump on all the boxes outside of my house for recycling. Little did I know my man's is inside waiting for me to get inside so he can eat. What the hell? Okay. You gotta go, Slim. These people, the internet's got some. You got to go, Slim. Gotta go. That's a wrap. We're not going to be having those types of conversations on my channel. Not even reading that on the feed. All right. It's almost lunchtime. So, have we raised $1,000 for Tiffany yet? I've been in here running my mouth so dutifully. I'm not even checking the feed for the... Let's see. Awesome, awesome. Wow, look at all these people giving. God bless you guys, man.
Did we make $1,000?
We making some cash. It's not quite 1,000. My boy gave $1,000. One of my homeboys from back in the day.
Gave you
Himself.
Wow.
No, he's not on this call. This is a friend of mine that's also friends with, he and I go way back. So you know the shipyard
Yeah.
in Newport News?
Yes.
Yeah. That's him.
Outstanding.
Like he owns it. His family owns the shipyard basically.
I think they call that gangster.
Yeah, dude is a straight gangster. So I need to hit him up, man. I want to know what he's doing in his business now. He and I have not talked since we were both co-best men at the wedding for the brother of Tiffany. Sweet. So yeah, thank you so much for everybody who's given. If you haven't given to the GoFundMe campaign that is in the description below, please do. That's what this show is actually dedicated to. Promised Tiffany I would bring her some folks that could help her out. All right, you guys got any more? If you guys are cool, I'm going to go eat lunch. Any more questions? Anybody that hasn't given yet that would like to give, please do so. Link in the description. And remember, you're not giving to me. This money has nothing to do with me. It's just giving to a person who gives to a lot of other people. Easy Math says, I just got on. Cool. Welcome, Easy Math. Cool. Well, if y'all don't have any more questions, I'll do last call for questions because I know YouTube has a delay. You guys usually hear what I'm saying about 15 to 30 seconds after I say it. So I'll do last call for questions, and then me and Tony are going to go eat lunch. I don't think Miko made us anything for lunch. What are we going to do?
Just red beans and rice upstairs.
Oh, she did have red beans and rice, son.
Yes, sir.
That's what's coming next. I have my army shirt on today, too. You guys can't see it. Can't see my sexy. I'm a little bit, I don't know what the right word is. I'm amused that your undershirt for the business meeting was. Did you think I was going to take you to the gym after the meeting?
I was prepared. Yes.
Oh, man. I was like, this dude got his workout gear on under the friggin' Superman. Just, you thought you was going to get a beating after the meeting?
Is it above you?
No, because I was thinking about how do we get to the gym after the second meeting if it
Exactly.
doesn't run too late.
Exactly.
Because today is arm day. And then tomorrow's leg day. So we may end up just doing shoulders and legs tomorrow if we don't work out today. I may go running.
Confiscated the entire day. So tomorrow.
Well, you're off tomorrow, right?
I am.
All right. All right, friends, it's been a pleasure serving you, and thank you so much to all of you who gave to Tiffany's cause. I cannot thank you enough. You all are a greater blessing to this movement than you are probably aware. Remember to stay strong. Remember that we are stronger than I. Tony and I and the family love you very much, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.